Okay, here we go. I can't believe that I'm going to say this, but I am just going to say this. I like giving blowjobs. I legitimately think that they are fun, but not everyone has the same enthusiasm for them as I do. And in this video, I want to share the mindset that I go in with, as well as my tips for giving great head. Let the puns begin. All right, so this video is outside of what I normally do here on YouTube, which is teach men how to be great lovers to women. I know that men are my primary audience here on YouTube, and that the obvious audience for this advice is heterosexual or bisexual women or men who are into men. So if you are someone who loves giving blowjobs watching this or wants to love them, welcome. I am about to share with you how to blow his mind and have a good time doing it. But if you're more of a blowjob receiver who's watching this, then I've got two quick things I want to say to you. First, I hope that this can give you some language for directing your partners better and understanding what it takes to give you good head so that you can get inside of her mind. Secondly, if you have any other additional tips or thoughts, please drop them into the comments so that the blowjob givers watching this video can learn from your experience. Before I get into the tips and the how-to, I just want to share about my perspective, because I have often extolled the virtues of foreplay for women. We take a while to warm up. Our bodies need foreplay for us to even have a chance at orgasming most of the time. But foreplay is important for men too. They may not necessarily need as much of it. They might not need it in order to reach orgasm, but foreplay is more than just about orgasms. It is about showing care and affection and desire for your partner. It is about teasing and building up to a big finish. It is as important as intercourse itself. It's also a great way to build excitement in your sex life, and giving good head is a surefire way to linger in a man's mind for days after the experience. There's also a lot of pleasure and power gained by feeling like you're in complete control over a sexual experience and your partner is just laid back and receiving. Giving a grade A blowjob can be incredibly arousing for the giver because you get to see how wild you can drive your partner. Studies show women typically are turned on by how much someone desires us. So this is a great way to tap into that. Before I give you the how to give an incredible blowjob and have a great time doing it, remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on the little bell so that you will be first to know when I drop more advice on getting and giving pleasure beyond your wildest dreams. Okay, tip one, master the approach. When it comes to giving head, a lot of us learned from porn, but I think we all know by now that what happens in porn isn't an accurate reflection of what you should be doing in your personal life in order to have great sex. In porn, the woman usually dives right in, she gets like all aggressive on it, and she starts gagging and deep throating and all kinds of stuff. I don't suggest doing this. I recommend that you approach the penis with love and curiosity, and that you build up your experience. Because honestly, if you stay present and curious throughout the entire experience, you're probably gonna do way better than you think. Sometimes mindset is as important as techniques. The same way that we like our vulvas and vaginas to be teased and warmed up and treated with love, men also want to be taken on a bit of a journey. So start by licking and gently kissing up his shaft and the tip of his head. Don't start full mouth sucking just yet. Let his body warm up to the experience and bring him to a point where he is like really begging you to amp up the intensity. Now, side note on this, some men can lose their erection when you start teasing and playing and going slow. Not a big deal. Erections come and go. They can come back. From the beginning of the blowjob until he has orgasmed, try to tune into his body and listen to his reactions. Let them guide you. If you are tuned into him, that is already going to put you at a tier above the average lover. All right, tip two, keep things slick. Usually when it comes to giving head, the wetter, the better. Yeah, it might feel a little gross and not particularly ladylike, but saliva really does make a huge difference here. And I am more of a saliva fan than a flavored lube fan, but like, you do what you gotta do. If you are not producing enough spit on that note, you could actually trigger your mouth and throat to create more saliva by deep throating. And you don't actually have to go all the way into your throat. Just having anything towards the back of your throat causing you even the threat of gagging will actually cause your body to start producing more saliva. It wants to make things wetter so that you don't choke. Anyways, pro tip. Also, don't be worried about spit in general. I know that spitting on someone or like drooling on someone might not feel that sexy. It might not be exactly your style, but remember that you don't have to be demure when you have a dick in your mouth. You can channel your inner Megan Thee Stallion and be a big ol' freak. Okay? Tip 3, use your hands. Using these two makes all of the difference when giving head. You can use them to take a break. You can use them to extend the feeling of your mouth. You can even use them to create the sensation of deep throating without having to do all of the hard work. Slide one hand all the way down to the base of his shaft and hold it, maintaining a little bit of tension. This pulls the skin, thus increasing sensitivity in the nerve endings at the tip of the penis and all the way along the shaft. You can then use your other hand to rub up and down his body, touch the inside of his thighs. We'll get more on what to do with testicles in just a second here. Experiment. One thing I like to do is put one hand over my partner's heart just to like feel this energetic connection and help him feel the energetic connection, thus tying his genitals and his pleasure to his heart at the same time. And this honestly is just the tip of the iceberg, which is why I created an entire course that teaches you advanced tantric hand techniques. That's called LINGAM massage. These techniques are totally transferable to blowjobs, and they provide incredibly intense pleasure as well as connection. So if you've ever found yourself thinking like, what should I do with my hands? How could I change it up? I'm tired of just doing this up-down stroke. What else is available? I have included the link to my LINGAM massage course in the description of this video. All right, tip number 3, involve his body. Like I was saying before, the best head is given when you are present with what's going on for him. It is important for all folks to feel connected during the sex and not just on a physical level. You can do this by looking up into his eyes while you're down there, running your hands, giving him little scratches along his body if he's into that. You can squeeze his thighs, and if you're feeling spicy and he's into it, you could even explore his backside. Make sure that you talk about it first. Consent in all directions for all genders all the time. Also, involving his balls. So many men like to have their balls played with during a blowjob, but you have to ask exactly how. Some men like a tighter squeeze. Some men like a very gentle, you're just like barely touching them. For some men, they might find that a little bit ticklish. So again, you gotta have a conversation with the guy that you're with. But in short, you have so many options. You can lick his balls, you can cradle them, you can even give them a very gentle squeeze. You will make him feel like his whole body is being tended to, which will make the pleasure that much more intense. Number 4, express yourself. There's nothing hotter than a woman giving head and enjoying it and letting everyone know that she likes it. I sincerely think that this is like the most important tip, because what you might lack in skill, you can always make up for with enthusiasm. Making little sounds and like groaning or slurping will help him to know that you are into it and will help him to relax into the experience and feel that much better. Also, don't be afraid to get a little extra with your self-expression. If you're into it and it comes naturally, you might gag or make little guttural noises. When you pause, you can always stop and smile at him. It does not need to be clinical. There is no like one right way to do this. This is why mindset is so important. If your mindset is like, I love this experience, that is gonna show. It is most important to remember that when it comes to noise and expression, it only really works if it feels authentic. Remember that your partner isn't looking for you to give a performance or be fake. They can usually tell, actually, when it feels fake, and that could take them out of the moment. The most important thing for great sex is that everyone is being themselves and having a good time. If it works for you, let your freak flag fly, but don't feel like you have to put on a show. All right, number 5, take a break when you need to. It is okay to need breaks, especially if you've been deep throating. Remember, like, you can't breathe. You have to take breaks. Titrate and variety, okay? You can always stop for a little while. You can kiss him while you're still stroking him with your hand. Remember that if it ever starts to feel unpleasant or like work, then the energy is gonna be off for both of you. Sometimes you just need to take a little break to like re-presence yourself, get your head back in the game. So take all the time that you need. Take as many breaks as you need. Often I have found for my clients, and even for myself and men that I've been with, that we kind of feel like we have to like continue to increase the momentum. We can't take breaks. We can't go back. Like once we've started, we've got to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, all the way to 10, all the way to orgasms. I will tell you, the best sex that you can have involves building up the intensity and letting it come back down. If your guy deals with premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction, he may be adding a little bit of pressure to the situation and being like, oh my God, it's working. We need to keep going. We need to keep doing this because like I'm too afraid of like getting to the finish line too fast or not at all, et cetera, et cetera. I invite you to think about sex more as an adventure, as a journey, as something that you can come back to. Take as much pressure off as possible. And remember that sex itself, but especially giving great head, is a marathon, not a race, a sprint, not sprint. Just remember, as much as you want to nail the technique, this is sex. It is at its core a connected activity. And if you're not feeling present and connected, it's not gonna be good for anybody. So take your time and have fun and don't fret too much that you're gonna get it wrong. All right, number 6, and my last tip to giving great head, know that it is okay to ask for instructions. Although there are some tips and techniques that apply pretty broadly across the board, it is important to remember that every man is different and so are his preferences. You are free to keep things simple and let body language communicate to you what is and isn't working. But remember, in order to have all of the information, you have to ask. You have a person in front of you who is literally an encyclopedia of what they like and what they don't. And they are gonna be your best resource. Asking what he likes doesn't have to be awkward. It doesn't have to take you out of the moment. You can start licking and sucking on him and then come up for air to ask. Do you like this touch or that touch more? Do you like this firmness or that firmness? Do you like when I do this to your balls, or would you prefer that I do that to your balls? Or tell me exactly how it is that you want to be touched. Unfortunately, a lot of men haven't always had the pleasure of thinking about this in advance. A lot of guys experience sex sort of like they're lucky enough to be having sex, so they can't ask for exactly what it is that they want or need. Just enter into the conversation with the same love and curiosity that you're entering into the blowjob itself, and invite him to get curious. Let him know that you are open to staying with that conversation and helping him figure it out. Chances are he will either tell you to like keep doing what you're doing with a little tweak or specification or modification there, or he might chime in with very specific instructions if he knows his preferences. He might be a little shy at first, and that is okay. And if you want to know more about that testing technique, like do you like touch A or touch B, I made a whole video on that, which you can go watch next. And there you have it. If you follow these simple tips, I really don't think that you can mess it up. Remember, the most fun part about sex is the exploration, the sexploration. Remember to explore your partner and your preferences. Remember that everybody is different. Remember that partner and you can change in preferences and desires day to day. Remember that sometimes it's just how you approach the thing that makes the biggest difference for everybody. With the right partner and the right approach, giving blowjobs can be super fun, empowering, and incredibly sexy. Y'all have been asking for me to make more videos educating women, so this one is for you. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and if you want to see more about this kind of stuff from me in the future. I'm Caitlin V. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. There, I said it.